Hello, my name is Mike. Welcome to the shop. This is Props to History. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and click on the little bell so that you get all the notifications. Sometimes for film, art directors have to create products, whether to tell a story or because it's needed to fill in space or because they just need a product to fill a void. Much in the case of Strange Brew, they created Elsinore Brewing. Or for Spaceballs, Perrier. This was, of course, a parody of Perrier. These products are owned by the studio. They own the copyrights to these and they can use them in that film. Obviously, things like this, like the Aspen beer from Alien or the Tank Star chicken from The Expanse, those can't be used anywhere else because they're so tied to a specific intellectual property or a specific film or TV show. In the case of products that you find in the regular world, there's an issue that has to be dealt with, and that's intellectual property rights or trademark law. How do you get around that? Now, in front of me, I have a whole lot of products that at first glance seem rather mundane, but what all of these are what's called IP-friendly or trademark-friendly products. You have things like just basic oat milk to Crunchies, which that looks like Captain Crunch, but it's just far enough removed to be legal. You don't have to pay a licensing fee, and films can use these whenever they want, including Big Cat. But these products all come from a place called Earl Hays Press. Now, Earl Hays Press has been around since 1915, and they've been making these fake products for film for that long, including one of the most famous brands ever made, Morley. I'm here at Earl Hays Press in Los Angeles, California, and they have been in business since 1915, creating fake products, magazines, newspapers, license plates, etc. And this place is absolutely amazing.
Hi there, my name is Rafael Hernandez. I've owned this business since 1968. I was actually working for the LA Times at that time. And it was good, but there was no future. So I started looking around, and I actually decided to go back into the union because there was just no work for a guy that wasn't in the union in those days. Earl had a small print shop, and then one day they came with a small order for a show that he had to get out in time. And somehow he did it.
One of the things that Earl Hays Press specializes in is, of course, fake products that are safe from intellectual property infringement. And one of the things that they've made that are extremely famous is the Morley brand of cigarettes, made famous by X-Files. And it's very obvious what they're supposed to be, but they're just enough removed to make them legal. And Morley has been seen in hundreds of different films. And this is just one of the literal thousands of things that Earl Hays Press makes here. They also have things to fill in for just your most basic stuff that you would see on screen. You don't even think about telegrams, just from Western Union. Just the telegram envelopes, the different types of telegrams that exist, the different companies that existed. Champagne, wine. I mean, you can literally pull any of these boxes out and find a thing that they make that you wouldn't even think about in film, that is something that has to be made. Stamps. Period stamps. You wouldn't even think about that being made for a movie, but Earl Hays Press does it. For the longest time, this was the only place that any of this stuff would come from, and for over 100 years, this is what Earl Hays Press has been doing. But then, you know, they also have the Year of the Elephant sticker. Don't know why, but they do. But they also make my favorite, llama. Obviously supposed to be camel. Jury summons. It's fun to actually just kind of look through here and see all of the random things that exist that you can get if you're a prop master or you're propping a film. You would come here for all of this. Any printed media, it's probably made here at Earl Hays Press, but if they don't have it on hand, their graphics department can absolutely make it.
And what was lucky with Earl Hays Press is that we could actually put you on the road with about 50% of props that were done for other shows. We would sit down with the prop man and take his order. And most of the time it was with the prop man that came in with the original show, whether it was TV or a motion picture. And we would take his whole order on what he needed for the film at that one time that we were sitting with him. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we said, yeah, we'll get it for you. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And then from there, we decided, we learned how to do things, you know.
Earl Hays Press, like I said, has been around for over 100 years. It started in 1915. And there's probably stuff from 1915 buried in here somewhere. And some of this stuff is actually, it's archived originals. Original posters that perhaps maybe they'll need to come back to and reprint or copy or something like that. I had a chance to go through here a while ago, and we found in both English and French Canadian Air Force posters from the Second World War, just rolled up on a shelf, and I've never seen them anywhere else but here. So this is not a remake, this is an original. This goes back, I believe, to 1902 or 1904, and it's hand painted on canvas. But at some point they may need to actually replicate this, so they have these originals in their collection, and this is just one of them. And they're in the process of going through and doing preservation work on a lot of these, but some of them, they just have so many, they haven't got to them yet, and this is one of them. It's actually a rather beautiful piece. So this is just on this table a smattering of some of the things that Earl Hays Press has done in the past, and nothing on this table is a reproduction. These are all originals going back to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This is one of the original newspapers from the film, and it goes, again, all over the map, from The Fugitive, Back to the Future, Batman Returns, Ghostbusters 2. This is one of the door decals for the side of Ecto 1. And they did them for the first movie as well. The Outlaw Josie Wales, Back to the Future 2 again, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and then they made all of the boxes. For Child's Play, this is the Good Guys doll, and then the different toys. There's the soldier set behind it. They created all of these boxes here. And my favorite piece that they've found, because a lot of this stuff they've just found, because when these things were made, particularly back in the 80s, nobody really cared about this stuff, and no one was going to be sure how a film did. So nobody really thought to keep some of it sometimes. But these are the blueprints for the Flux Capacitor. You can see there, Flux Capacitor, do not build. These were found in a vent, and as the story goes that I was told, they used it to block some air because the air coming out was too cold. So they grabbed the first thing at hand. And the first thing at hand was the blueprints for the Flux Capacitor. This is another example of things that were created here. These are the prototype cards from Ghostbusters from 1984. These are the cards that Pete Venkman tries to use in the early part of the film, when he's testing their psychic abilities and then shocking all the guys. And then you see him again in Afterlife, at the end of Ghostbusters Afterlife. But these are the prototype cards from Ghostbusters. Those are the actual ones. And that's just fantastic. I love this, how this is laid out. This is the old way of creating. Modern day stuff, they do Photoshop and then for different magazine covers. But this is from the 90s. This is from the TV show Wings. And it's two ways that they did the cover of the American Flyer magazine. And they would just layer one actor's photo or the other actor's photo across it and then print them that way. And this is just a leftover example of that old way of printing. Now, among the other things that they have found here at Earl Hays Press are some of the original negatives from the things that they've made in the past. These are from Ghostbusters 2, the pages of the Life and Time magazine, Jurassic Park. That's Dr. Grant's book that is carried around. These are from Rocky, these here, from Batman, and of course from Twin Peaks. And this is my favorite piece of all of them. Tales from Space. That's from Back to the Future.
Well, what we have out there is Ghostbusters, and that original magazine that you see on the wall there, that's mine.
That's yours.
I did that.
That's fantastic.
When we started making unique props for them, it felt more like it was ours,
Right.
you know.
I often get asked, what is the most reused prop in history that's seen in more productions than any other thing ever? Well, you may be surprised to find out that it's a newspaper. This is an actual production-made newspaper from Back to the Future, as you can see by the headline. What you will probably recognize is the inside. This is what is referred to as the recurring newspaper. Now, these have been manufactured by Earl Hays Press in Los Angeles, California, since the 1960s. And with a conservative estimate of over 10,000 productions that they've ended up in, it is in fact the most reused prop. These do not start life like this. They obviously have nothing on the front. They actually start life just like this, blank on the front, and then they add whatever is needed to the front. And when you open it, it's these pages over and over and over again. It actually doesn't change.
All these blanks are blocks of pre-done stuff.
Yeah.
Before they were all metal on the linotype machine, but these are a lot lighter. It's,
Oh wow, they are a lot lighter than I expected them to be.
let me show you. Let's say this is linotype lead. It's harmless to you.
Right, yeah.
But imagine 50 of these of the weight.
Oh dear. Yeah, that'd get heavy quick,
It
doesn't
gets heavy real quick. So that's when they decided to go and do a line cut with wood.
And now how often does this gibberish, because you said this is all just gibberish on here, how
Yeah.
often does it repeat?
A lot.
A lot.
See this here? You'll see it here again.
Yeah.
Then you'll see it over here. Because they're just blocks that they come in different sizes.
Yeah.
Skinny ones, you see like this,
Yeah.
would be like, let's say, maybe right there.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit bigger, like right there.
Yeah.
I have them in different sizes and I have them in longer ones.
And you just stagger them to
Just-
make it look right.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
But it takes time and knowing what you do.
Right.
That we felt that someone needed a few years of working here just to get an idea what it's all about.
Yeah.
So it never changed hands to a stranger that hadn't worked here for a while. Bill Bailey started here right after the Second World War. He came down from Canada. He walked in there and he saw a future. He realized that we weren't doing enough, or that we could do more. When I first came in with my partner, Paul, and we decided that we were going to build a business even more. It's probably because we decided to grow with the industry. There's a lot of guys that make a few bucks at it, and they say, well, that's it.
That was enough, and then they stopped.
And, if it starts to grow too big, they get scared. But we weren't that way.
And now when all these stories that enter, you say that they're cleared stories, right?
Yes.
So
it doesn't mean anything. Pictures
It
don't
means
mean
absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Like all this is gibberish and this is just a
Yes.
stock photo. And this interior,
That's Earl Hays.
is that Earl Hays himself?
Yeah.
Now who's this? Because you see
The-
her a lot too.
The girlfriend of one of the old pressmen
Really?
from the 60s.
Oh wow. I had no idea that Earl Hays was actually in all these newspapers.
I don't know why, but
There he is.
yeah, there he is.
Oh.
Because the blanks that we get, they're blank in the front, and everything's already pre-printed.
Okay.
So when you come in, you're doing the show or wherever you're at,
Yeah.
you have the actor's picture or what's happening within the script.
Okay.
And then if you want something like this, we would type it up for you,
Yeah.
and there you go.
And then just fill in the space here with just nonsense.
Gibberish.
That's fantastic.
I will feed it here, which is like this. Like that.
Okay.
These are grippers, it holds it, and now it would have been printed. I come back, I lift it, and do 50 more.
You just do 50 at a time.
Yeah,
And that's it, huh?
Yeah.
And that's how it's made.
and that's how it's made.
Well, thank you, Ralphie. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Like I said, anytime.
Yeah. Well, that's it for me here. I'd like to thank everyone at Earl Hays Press for their time and their hospitality and letting us have a look at what they do for a living and how amazing it really is. Thank you again for watching. Props to history.